I got it in Jersey.
At any time, we might ask you to show us that gun again. You better have it on you.
I will. I'll put it with the key.
Yay.
Thanks, guys.
Anyone messes with you, we get to beat them up.
That's right. Seriously,
you.
anyone mess with you, then
You know I wasn't serious.
you mess
I
with
know
you,
you
you
were.
mess with the whole family. Welcome.
Today we'll be printing T-shirts.
It's very important that at least one person is smoking a cigarette.
You get your screens burnt. You get an image. We get
Scratch the
somehow
PR.
we get the screen made, which is silk, which kind of has a frame like this. You see that? That says Antagonist Movement NYC Chapter. There were 3 different versions. One of them we liked about. I'd give it maybe a B.
You center the screen or wherever you want it on the shirt.
So Chris holds down the sides.
Squeegee.
Squeegee.
We call it the plastic thing.
Basically, you hold this down to a 45-degree angle. If you're gonna flush the screen, lift the back end. You lift that up,
Back end.
and you kind of run it over the thing. And the purpose of that is so the ink is all uniform and even for the first time that you push it through. That's a flush screen. Then he applies it down to the shirt.
We don't ever
The
flush.
screen is now flushed. We usually don't do this. Now you hold the squeegee to a 45-degree angle, making sure that it'll cover all the letters. And you drag. It's as simple as this. You can do one pass.
You're only supposed to go over it one time like that, but this is
But-
how we do it. We go over it multiple times.
We go over it multiple times. The way that you do it correctly to go over it multiple times is you go back up to the beginning because you always want to pull the same way because that's the way the screen stretches. So that's probably good. If I was doing this for
We get
real,
the A again, maybe.
I would look around. If I wanted to get the A again, little plus thing, drag over the A, maybe we'll touch up the N. So let's see what it looks like. See, we put
That
too
is
much
hot.
ink through. It's a good color. It's a little thin. I think we need to mix a little bit more in, but it's good. We have a trial shirt. We'll move on.
And put your hands together for Legs McNeil, Jen Osborne, and Pete Pavia.
So tonight what we're going to read is the excerpt where we introduce Deep Throat and what happens, and the FBI's reaction to that, which was to send 2 undercover agents, one named Pat Livingston and one named Bruce Olavsky, deep cover for 3 years as pornographers / mobsters to infiltrate the organized crime porn world. So let's get into it.
Bill Kelly, FBI agent. I'll tell you something you've never heard before. One reason that Deep Throat had the success that it did and launched the whole porno chic movement was because J. Edgar Hoover died in 1972, the same year that Deep Throat came out. Had he lived and been in full possession of his faculties, I think Hoover would have gone berserk with the success of Deep Throat. When I say berserk, I mean he would have had us out kicking tail in every jurisdiction where it was presented. J. Edgar Hoover would not have permitted Deep Throat to have gotten the jump on law enforcement that it did. And I believe we would not be in the same terrible condition nationally that we are as far as obscenity is concerned.
Butchie Perino, producer of Deep Throat, My Porn Defendant, from a 1973 Esquire interview with Nora Ephron under the pseudonym Lou Perry. By the time we finished Deep Throat, we spent $40,000. I was very worried. How would it be accepted? Well, I've been to many X-rated movie screenings, but this picture in the screening, when she gives throat for the first time, 4 or 5 of the men in the audience said, "Hooray!" And by the end of the sequence, there were 15 guys standing, and they went into a very big applause. At that point, we knew we had a hit on our hands.
Dave Friedman, exploitation film producer. Deep Throat was like the Blair Witch Project of its time. When the picture first came out, it was just another porno. So it opens in New York City at the World Theater, and it was doing so-so business. And then Mayor Lindsay decided to crack down on pornography and confiscated the print. And of course, the controversy became big front-page news in all of the New York dailies. Mayor cracks down on Deep Throat. Right away, the national media gets onto it.
John Waters, film director. What was great about Deep Throat was that it had this great advertising campaign. You could never get away with this now, but even the New York Times ran the ad which read, "If you like head, you'll love throat."
Chuck Traynor, ex-husband and ex-manager of Linda Lovelace. When Johnny Carson went to see Deep Throat, then it became chic to go see Deep Throat.
Bunny Yeager, famed Betty Page pinup photographer. Even movie stars were saying they wanted to see it, or they had seen it. Movie stars would never admit to have seen porn before.
Bill Kelly. I was more than appalled at the success of Deep Throat. I was doubly appalled, shocked, and disgusted. You see, in 1971, an element of the Colombo family of the Mafia named the Pereno family came down here to South Florida, set up their offices near Fort Lauderdale, and made Deep Throat. It cost them $22,500 to make it, and their eventual gross exceeded $100 million. That was the first time we had anything like that in this country.
Linda Lovelace, former porn star and anti-porn activist. The key to it was that it was a comedy, and that's what made it a success.
Bill Kelly. After Deep Throat became a cause celeb, some of the bad guys would say, "Yeah, you're such a great FBI agent, Kelly. You didn't even know Deep Throat was being made right under your nose in North Miami. Yeah, you're so good. You didn't even know the biggest porn film in history was being made within walking distance of your house." And it was true. I didn't know it. But you know, you can't win them all.
Glenn Souza, LAPD Administrative Vice Detective. The 8mm X-rated film was a multi-million-dollar business, and Norm Arno was the front man on that. He was a big, dumb slob. Big, fat, dirty slob. Everybody hated Norm Arno. But he had control of the 8mm films, probably because Norm Arno was with Mickey Zeffirano, a Bonanno family capo, a representative out here in LA. Miami FBI Organized Crime Squad supervisor. Nobody in the Bureau was really excited about pornography, but the OC connection, the organized crime connection, was what we were looking for. So Bill Kelly was running around licking his chops saying, "We're finally going to get legitimate. We're finally going to show once and for all that pornography is controlled by organized crime." That's the end of that section.
Okay, this is unorthodox style. Basically, we're screening crispy.
This will come out very poorly. You have to get the sides
Go
of
that way?
my napples.
Go the other way. Okay, stop. Ethan probably won't use that. That came out better than when we actually did it. It's good to fuck around, because when you start fucking around, when you start messing around with ideas pop in your head, and something might good come from that. Something we might go out on Broadway and start silk screening people's shirts as they walk by. We should do the next shirt. This thing is hot like an oven. So we plug it in, and it heats up to 310 degrees. Remember that? 310 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not quite hot yet, but we'll let it sizzle on top for a while.
Sizzle.
The Antagonist. I've been doing this shit for fucking 20 years. No,
I just hurt myself.
17 or 18 years, 16 years, but the rest is to let yourself know that if you actually believe at one point I can be a painter, and you paint a painting and it sucks, it still doesn't matter. The important thing is that you did it, and the enjoyment is in the process and not the product.
I personally, growing up in New York, think fucked up neighborhoods are wonderful. And I think that because I've seen a lot of punk rock kids, a lot of drug addicts, just a lot of shit going on a daily basis. And it's better than watching TV.
Arthur A. Mays. I work at this bar called Lit, and there's this guy that comes in there named Enrico. And I'd seen him come in there for quite a bit of time, a lot, often. And we sort of started chatting, and he told me he was a writer, and this is where he read. And on one particular night, he said, "I'm reading tomorrow, I want you to come by." But before he said that, I said, I do some writing, maybe I'll come by and read a piece. And basically, he introduced me to the Antagonist movement.
I stand before you tonight as the Reverend Buttcheeks. As the Reverend Buttcheeks, I don't want to preach to you here tonight. That would be too easy. In the absence of a sermon or even a prayer, what I have for you tonight is a survey. So without further delay, I offer you Booty Call Survey number 35.
I don't know, it's like therapy. I like to write, I like to write about different things.
Question number 1. Have you ever said no to a booty call?
I went to college at Syracuse University and I majored in communication and I had a minor in magazine writing. I always thought I'd be a journalist or a writer or something like that. And when I got out of school, it occurred to me that it was very hard to do that you had to kiss a lot of ass. And I've never been good at kissing ass. And also at that time, I have to be honest, I wasn't that good. Because I used to do some writing and try to get published, and I always used to get rejected. So, and I got a couple of interesting letters from editors and stuff like that, and some of those rejection letters inspired me. So for like the last 10 years, I've sort of been writing on and off. For me, it's kind of like a mood thing. If I'm in the right mood, I'll do it. And if I had to write hangover, I'll do it. Or if I'm bored, I'll do it. Some writers have like a routine or they're disciplined. I'm very slow and methodical.
Question number 3. How many booty calls have you had?
Well, I actually like it. I don't know what I could say better. I think it's odd. I think it's weird. I think it's fucking... to me, it's totally underground. And,
There she is looking at me from across the bar. Ooh, you're a dirty animal, aren't you? I'm busting through the people to get there because I'm going to get her real nice. Better than she's ever been gotten before. She looks familiar with her long legs and curly brown hair.
I think a lot of trials and tribulations of growing up in Toledo, Ohio. Ain't that the truth? So, back then, there's nothing left to do. You just run around doing drugs, drinking, sex, lots of sex.
I was in like a motherfucker, but there was something strange. A fact was missing, something wrong. She was just that familiar. The music, fast, and I had more fancy shit up my nose than Ron Jeremy had on his cock. My mantra was, rock out with your cock out, and it was going crazy. We're touching, dancing, smooching here and there, a feel here. It was on. Oh baby, I exclaim, oh baby, I'm so hard. I want you right now. She exclaims, take me, take me. The drums of battle in my head. This is wartime. Bang, bang, boom. The noises of war have turned into the thrusts of cock, pussy, cock, pussy, cock, pussy, cock, pussy, cock, pussy, tits, hair, cock, pussy.
During my prepubescent in-between years, I rode my bike everywhere, stole candy bars from convenience stores, and was on a never-ending search for pornography. The group of kids from around the corner would steal Hustler and Penthouse magazines from their fathers and sell them to my friends and I for $1. These same kids would also speak of this old guy by the name of Jim. They would tell us, you gotta meet Jim, he's great, he's the best.
Then there are the sexual getting busteds. Kyle Shattuck's grandma walking in on him eating me out after I sprung him loose from his boarding school the night before and drove to his grandma's house for a nice visit. Trying to look at her during Trivial Pursuit that evening was painful. Or Jason Sardilli's buddies looking in the bathroom from the yard at Josh Sabatini's house while he attempted to eat me out. Fuck, apparently my pussy set off some freak voyeurist alarm. Like boy band appearances at MTV for preteen girls. Or there was Scott Farrell running naked out of the basement of my house after my parents are at the Whalers game. You can come over, 69 lessons.
We wondered who the hell Jim was and why did these other kids like him so much. One day, my friends Paul, Bobby, and myself got introduced to Jim. Jim was an old white guy, about 74 years old, who looked like a cross between Bing Crosby and Jimmy Durante. He gave us a tour of his home. In the basement was a fridge with more brownies and other desserts, and upstairs in the one-room attic there was a small bed and a night table. This is where the overnight guests would stay. The overnight guests were typically boys from the neighborhood. I found this a little odd. I would have sleepovers with friends my own age, but I never had a sleepover in a 74-year-old single man's attic.
So we stood in the driveway for a moment, waiting for some kind of sign, and it appeared. This huge mountain of a woman came out the door. She was like huge Euro woman. One of those 200-pound, gigantic-breasted, 6-foot-tall, no bullshit women. We're all screaming, Wade, get the fuck out of here. Go, 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 go. She was screaming, we were screaming, Wade was panicking. We were like, go, man, go, go. Suddenly, Wade came to life and he jammed the car in reverse. But right at that moment, the mother grabbed onto the door. It was fucking unreal. Wade dragged her down the driveway. Tires smoking, her screaming, us screaming for about 10 feet till finally she let go. And we were freaking out in the car. Vern and me were like, get us the fuck out of this car now. So we got out of the car, we ran through backyards, over fences, behind stores, up the back of the bowling alley and into the Burger King. We ordered a couple cups of coffee and sat in the back smoking cigarettes. Yeah, cigarettes and Burger King. Remember those aluminum ashtrays.
The group shows are, we do one every few months now. We get a theme, and then we take all the artists that have been in a past Antagonist show, or new artists for that matter. We usually have between 50 and 60 artists. Yeah, we come up with a theme, and then we give the artist a couple months to come up with an original piece of artwork based on that theme. For example, the one that we're doing now is the
Hawks and Doves.
Hawks and Doves show. So people's views on War and Peace, however they feel about it, and then they make an original piece of artwork specifically for that show.
You can push yourself to say, I want to act in a play in my local playhouse, or I'm going to paint a painting, or I'm going to do a drawing of this flower, because that flower, it turns me on. I want to draw that flower. I want to get connected to that flower more. This is the stuff that's important. It's the punk rock ethos. It's like, oh, I'm a terrible musician, but I'm going to start a band. I believe in music, and music moves me, and I want to be part of that. So I know 3 chords, but you know what? That's enough, and I'm going to start a band. And that, I think that is really the crux of the Antagonist.
Epic stories and just impress everyone, and it just tied everything up and complicated things, and it affected the work, made it worse, actually dull and boring. And I just kind of want to make it more, I don't know, exciting and readable and fun again.
It just seems that everybody kind of knows somebody, or it's all just like, oh, I want to be an artist, it seems like the thing to do, so let me just kind of half-ass something. And it's good to be able to put things that, I would normally you wouldn't see in a gallery and stuff like that.
Here's a movement that supports everybody. And we'll also tell you that you suck. Like, we're not afraid to tell you that, because honesty is a very important virtue. It gives you an environment that fosters growth and encouragement, even in a backwards way sometimes. It's like, you are an artist, you are an actor, you are a painter, you are a writer, you are whatever you want to be. You fucking make a quilt, you tend the garden, fine. You love that, you should do that.
These are the paints. I don't really know what you want here, but I'm just going to give you
keep going.
stuff. These are all the paints we use. Like, for instance, we're going to use gold. You want to use yellow on these?
Yeah.
We're going to use yellow for this. There's usually... We use coffee cans because the first show that we ever did was called Guns and Coffee for the Antagonist movement. And that still sticks with our heart. So in all of our shirts, there's still a little bit of this coffee grain that goes into all of the paint, which I think is pretty cool. But the paint's always way too thick, so we always have to reduce it. So we mix the plastisol with this standard reducer to make the paint runny, so then we can apply it to the screen and pull it under the shirt. And what we're doing here is we're applying basically really hazardous chemicals, like you shouldn't smell them and anything, and we're just putting them onto shirts. We do this because we like to. Because we like to turn people into walking billboards.
Masking tape is your friend.
I love you. I love you. Whoever's there, I love you. Who's behind that thing, I love you.
I'm behind the thing. Hold on. Who's going after?
Go. Wait,
come on, go first. Start filming them.
what just occurred?
We ambushed Brian like he deserved.
And why does he deserve it?
Because he's kind of retarded and he makes model ships.
Take something you love and explore it. If you enjoy that, then that is what you should do. And I think that's what the Antagonist movement is putting out there. Like,
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our brief Thursday edition of Fahrenheit. My name is MC Buttafuoco. Coming up to the microphone next, first-time reader, please put your hands together for Shaka Malik.
Party child, party wild. Make your niggas ask a question. What the fuck, learn a lesson? Well, I have my sci-fi and cranberry. Make y'all niggas ask a real question. How many cocktails can you drink without getting fucked up? How many bitches can you fuck without getting knocked up? How many bitches can you fuck without getting a disease? Nigga, please.
Something that's really good for when you're screening shirts, if you're doing it with somebody, it's good to have a clean hands partner and a dirty hands partner. I do the screening, so my hands should be dirty. Crispy's hands.
I'm always the clean one. I'm always the filthiest one, buddy.
Dan and I collaborate on everything. We're art partners.
We basically were. I think we were afraid to do a piece on our own.
Yes, I agree with that.
And I don't know if it was fear, like, oh my God, I'm afraid what people think. I'm afraid this, blah, blah, blah. It was more like we needed each other to be motivated. It was the kind of fear of not getting something done that put us together. And once we did, we came up with an awesome piece. Ethan cut to the fuck John Lennon, cut back to me. So we
Don't say me. Come on now.
Dear antagonists, thank you all so very much for this wonderful opportunity to express our offerings related to the topic war and peace. I think it's crucially vital that the antagonistic movement jump right into the fray and deal with these global impacting events shaping our future of our children and grandchildren. Let it be known here and now that in the dark days of Operation Iraqi Freedom, antagonists were there, offering their writers 5 minutes to sound off on the subject of war and peace. But I have one question, well, maybe several, but for starters, what took you guys so fucking long? The war started 10 days ago, and now you've decided to start addressing it. Have you exhausted all those really deep and thought-provoking topics that challenged the writers week in, week out previously? You know the ones. Getting busted. Too drunk to fuck. Fucked up hometowns. Beatdowns. A moment in time that changed your life. I like that one.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Where the fuck were you when this debate was raging in your city? The city where this war on terror began. You were sitting on the fence and dumbing us down with the candy-coated, saturated, lackadaisical nothings and menial homework-type tasks depicting the idiocies of us Americans leading this country into the shithole it has become. What would Ray Ray say? Oh, I forgot. Your movement's founder is a fictitious character. Hey guys, because you are absurd does not mean you are absurdists. Oh, I forgot. Should I take this seriously? Thanks for staying ahead of the game, guys. Sincerely, Jimmy Drago.
You might watch us, you might be like, oh, that's fucked the way they're doing that. It probably is fucked, because it's not the way that you want to do it. Do your shit your own way. We're just giving you some guidelines. The only way you're ever going to learn any of this stuff is by doing it. And once you start doing it, then you'll find a better way of doing it for you. And that's all that really matters to me. I don't care if you follow my process. I don't care if you ever make a t-shirt in your damn life.